Most people are living in quiet defeat, not dramatic failure, not visible collapse, but a slow internal surrender that happens so gradually it feels normal. It is not because they lack intelligence. It is not because they lack opportunity. And it is certainly not because they lack ambition. It is because, somewhere along the way, they made a private agreement with weakness. They agreed to delay. They agreed to soften the edge. They agreed to trade long-term meaning for short-term comfort just often enough for it to become a habit. Each morning begins the same way. The alarm sounds, and before the body even moves, the mind begins negotiating. 5 more minutes, one more scroll, one more excuse disguised as self-care. Small anxieties are carefully managed emails, headlines, imagined conversations, while the work that actually matters is postponed. Not rejected, just delayed. And delay is how potential dies without resistance. We behave as if time is abundant, as if energy is permanent, as if tomorrow is guaranteed. Yet we hesitate, we stall, we wait. Because failing today feels heavier than wasting years quietly. We were trained to believe happiness exists somewhere in the future, after the achievement, after the recognition, after the external signal that says, now you are allowed to feel at peace. This belief is not harmless. It is a psychological trap, because it places your emotional stability into a world that does not care about your expectations. Markets fluctuate, people disappoint, plans collapse, validation disappears. When your peace depends on outcomes, you live at the mercy of forces that will never be loyal to you. Real power begins with a realization most people resist. You control your mind. You do not control the world. This distinction is not poetic. It is operational. Picture an ancient trader. Years of discipline, years of sacrifice. Everything he owns loaded onto a single ship. One storm arrives without warning. The sea does not negotiate. The ship does not survive. In one moment, his material identity is gone. Most people would feel robbed, cheated, crushed by rage or despair. But if his worth is anchored in character rather than possessions, he is diminished, but not destroyed. This is the dichotomy of control. Your judgments, your decisions, your responses. They to you, weather does not. Economies do not. Other people's perceptions never will. Trying to dominate what cannot be controlled drains energy without producing results. The moment you stop fighting reality, clarity returns. The moment you accept limits, strength appears. Calm is not passivity. Calm is efficiency. To pursue ambition without being consumed by it, you must shift your attachment. Detach from outcomes. Attach to execution. Fall in love with the process. Consider a craftsman, a baker, hands deep in dough every morning. No audience, no applause, just repetition and refinement. Praise does not elevate him. Criticism does not derail him. The work itself is the reward. Or consider a creator. Every decision before release is intentional. Lighting, structure, language, integrity. Once the work is released, control ends. Algorithms decide. Audiences react. Silence or noise follows. Everything before release is yours. Everything after is not. If your self-worth rises and falls with outcomes, you are owned by them. If your self-worth is measured by effort, you remain free regardless of reception. Freedom is not lack of ambition. Freedom is lack of dependency. This way of living demands focused urgency. Not panic, not haste, but seriousness. You build a life the same way. Build anything durable. One brick, one decision, one act of discipline at a time. Discipline is misunderstood. It is not cruelty toward yourself. It is not emotional suppression. It is foresight. It is the recognition that storms are inevitable and preparation is optional. The comfort-seeking voice will always speak. Wait for motivation. Rest a little longer. Now is not the right time. That voice is persuasive. because it is familiar. But motivation is inconsistent. Momentum is chosen. Set daily minimums. Unimpressive. Non-negotiable. The smallest version of the task that still counts. And execute regardless of mood. Tired, irritated, doubtful. You act anyway. Over time, action becomes identity. You stop asking how you feel. You act on who you have decided to be. This discipline must extend inward. Your internal space requires protection. When others insult, criticize, or misunderstand you, remember this. Their behavior reflects their internal state, not your value. You are not required to correct every misinterpretation. You are not obligated to participate in every conflict. Silence is not surrender. Silence is selection. It is choosing not to enter arenas designed to exhaust you. Boundaries do not need explanation. Peace does not need justification. Your environment matters more than motivation. Stay close to people who act. Distance yourself from those who endlessly discuss intention without execution. Dreamers are not dangerous, but stagnation is contagious. If you are the only one moving forward, resistance will eventually come from those closest to you. Gravity always wins. Choose, circle with precision. Now confront the truth most people avoid. You are temporary. Not someday. Not eventually. Now, you could leave life without warning. This awareness is not morbid. It is clarifying. It sharpens attention. It strips away triviality. Most people exist in preparation mode. Always planning. Always optimizing. Always almost ready. They avoid discomfort today while assuming time will compensate later. Hard conversations are delayed. Bodies are neglected. Purpose is postponed. Feels frightening. But failure instructs. Failure passes. Regret does not. Regret accumulates quietly and becomes unbearable. Ask yourself honestly, what is more weight? A failed attempt at something meaningful, or a lifetime knowing you never tried? Mastery is inner stillness. Not the absence of chaos, but independence from it. It is restraint after insult, calm after loss, direction amid uncertainty. When stillness becomes internalized, the world loses leverage. You stop reacting, you start responding. You no longer mirror noise, you shape environments. Approval becomes optional. Consensus becomes irrelevant. You do not need permission to pursue what matters. You need clarity and the courage to continue without applause. Walking alone is not failure. Abandoning yourself is. Stop negotiating with weakness. Stop waiting for fairness, because fairness is a comforting myth. Life is indifferent, and that indifference demands strength. Choose voluntary hardship, cold water, boredom, repetition, resistance. Not because it is pleasant, but because it prepares you. By doing what you resist, you condition yourself for what you cannot avoid. This is a rehearsal. This is not a draft. This is the final performance. Build your life deliberately, brick by brick, choice by choice, with discipline, with intent, with resolve. Walk directly into your resistance and prove to yourself that you are no longer governed by impulse, fear, or expectation. Stay strong. Stay grounded. Begin now.